Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. And a good afternoon to you. This is the Central Florida Computer Society, the Windows Special Interest Group, or WinSIG, for Sunday, August 8th, 2021. I'm Hewie Poplock, and welcome everyone. We have a pretty good house full of people. Thank you for joining us. And today is going to be an interesting experiment, if you want the, I guess the correct word. We're going to play with and test out and look at Windows 11 on a machine that's dedicated to Windows 11. Of course, it's still in beta and in development mode, and you have to be a Windows insider to be able to get the version to play with. It has not been released to the general public. To become a Windows insider, you basically have to have a Windows account, which is free, and you have to ask to be an insider, and as soon as you ask, you are. And then you can install it. Do not do that on your main machine. It is a pre-release. It's still got bugs. It still has issues. There are two levels. You can have the development level or you can have the beta level. If at this point, they're both the same, and they probably will be the same for the next couple of updates. And then the development one continues on with some of the newer stuff, and the beta catches up to it a little bit later. And then once it's released, and it's looking like what I'm reading, they're hoping the end of October, but sometime before the holiday season. So it will actually be on computers for the holiday season. Let's see, a couple other things that people have been mentioning and talking about is, well, do I need to buy a new computer to run it? And the answer to that is most likely, unless you have something relatively new. And it's a good way to find out. There is a program, and it is in the chat box if you were on early enough to see it. If not, we'll and don't see it, go ahead and put a note in, and somebody will put it up again, because anything goes in the chat, you can only see up to the point where you join the meeting. But what I want to do is, let's go ahead and share my screen, and we'll close this. And I am going to type in, why not? That gets me to where it's called why not win11.exe. I've already downloaded it. I am going to run it. Did I share my screen? Yeah.
Yes.
Why am I not seeing it on the other machine? Are you seeing it?
Yes.
Okay, it's running the test. It's still checking on that, and everything is okay. So the question was earlier, how do you know if you have the right chip, the TPM chip? And it will tell you if it's detected it down here. There are a couple other things. Is the DirectX I found on a couple of machines. I didn't have it. And the other had to do with the CPU compatibility, is another big gotcha that you might not be able to run it. If you run the test, that's just what it is. And it tells you exactly every one. And it tells you if it failed, which one failed. Any questions on that before we start the session?
There seem to be several versions of that why not win 11. Is it important that you have the latest version, or will earlier versions work as well?
You know, I have no idea why they would have updated, except maybe there might be some machines that were failing that shouldn't have, and they fixed the issues. I'm guessing, totally guessing on that. So I don't.
Windows, Microsoft itself has also made some slight adjustments, and this program has kept up with those adjustments. So software-wise, some things might have failed. They won't now if you're running the latest version.
But I would say that if it told you it passed earlier, I think you're pretty safe that it still
Correct.
It will have passed. Okay, let's see. Hang on one second. So let's see. I need to close this. I'm going to open this. And let me share my screen. And I'm going to bring this article over. And Microsoft explains Windows 11 changes. The central location is more consistent. The gist of the process, Microsoft has now realized that people don't turn on a computer to use Windows, but rather to carry out a task, such as editing a document, opening a website, and playing a streaming video. As a result, they want Windows to make this happen and then get out of the way. These revolutionary findings were, according to Microsoft, the basis for moving the start menu to the middle of the screen rather to the left-hand side. The logic is partly that this is more familiar with smartphone users and partly to make placement more consistent across different types of devices and screen setups. They did have, and I just saw some things on this. Sometimes when something during this latest test build of Windows 11, they changed from the initial design because of feedback. Originally, the icon in the taskbar at the bottom of the screen would flash repeatedly until a user went to that application if that application needed some kind of attention. And people were complaining about it flashing. And what it was called, and let me look on here because I got a note on that because I can never remember. It's called a backplate, and the backplate was flashing. And people complained about it, so they've now eliminated. It will flash a couple of times and then just be on. So if you were testing Windows 11 and had that, it will have gone away. So instead of the icon, it'll briefly flash and then display a pale pink background behind the icon and a small red horizontal line underneath. You know, that little line underneath when you have an open box, when you have an open app and you look down on your taskbar and there's a line underneath. Do you know that has a name? It's called the pill. Never knew that. Anyway, so if nothing else, you've learned one new thing today. So that was that article. And let's see, there was one other article I wanted to get, how to get started testing. By the way, these are all of the articles that are listed on the Hewie.net website under WinSig. And let's see this article, and then we'll go into the hands-on. And this one says the biggest benefit of testing the Windows 11 OS before Windows 10 loses support is the long lead time an organization has to work out all the upgrade bugs. Windows 11 is expected to arrive during the holiday season, so most likely between October and December, which I mentioned earlier. Microsoft will continue supporting Windows 10 until October 2025. So eventually, if you're still around and still in computers, as it gets closer to October 2025, then you want to start thinking about probably getting a new computer. But let's face it, in 4 years, you're probably going to want a new computer anyway. There's going to be lots of enhancements and changes in hardware that you're going to want, and software as well, that you're going to want to upgrade. The benefit of testing Windows 11 while Windows 10 enjoys 4 more years of support is that IT pros have 2 or 3 years to evaluate. And same with you. You don't need to go to Windows 11. There's no reason to. And some of your programs that you run may not be compatible with Windows 11 right out of the box. So you want to make sure that before you even think about going to Windows 11, that if there are certain programs that you run, you want to make sure they're going to be compatible with Windows 11. First, determine who within your organization will test it. The key to successful testing for an organization to recruit enthusiastic end users who can adapt to the challenges by pre-release software. Let's see what else it says here. Sign up. Let's see. I don't think you really need to get Azure. finally, the program agreement. So you have to agree to some things when you become a tester. And go ahead and stop the share. And then I need to move that back over to the screen over to the side so I can have notes as we go along. And somebody gave a website where you can go to download the Why Not Win 11, just as the beta version of Windows 11 and the Why Not Win 11 programs. It's best to get them from the originators as opposed to getting it from a third party, because you don't know if anybody's added anything to it, and that you might have problems down the road. So I'm going to move over to my Windows 11 machine, and I'm going to share the screen. Hopefully this will work. And you see my Windows 11 computer. Now, I have a plain desktop background to make it easier for you and me, but you can, of course, have any background or picture or series of pictures that you want. I prefer the to have the plain background even on my main machine. So when I'm doing recording, when I'm doing sharing to demonstrate things, that there's nothing that's distracting. You'll see that I only have a handful of icons on here, and I really don't need them on here, but just to show you that I have some. And you'll see I have a shutdown one here, and I'll try to remember to talk about that later. I can't demonstrate it because it actually shuts down the computer. It's something that I have in my Windows 10 machine, and it's just a shortcut to be able to shut down directly from my screen. And that also runs on Windows 10. And I'll show you how I did that. And I've shown that in past Windows special interest group meetings as well. So the first item on the list is the taskbar, and it's, let's see, and how it's different. Let me look at this article to see some intro along with the new icons and fresh start menu. The new taskbar is part of Windows 11. You'll see it down here. It's not the way it was out of the box. I've added a few more things to the system. And so there are a few more, but you'll notice that the start menu has got a little bit different. It's got 4 boxes, 4 windows or 4 window panes. So the icon's a little bit different, and you'll notice it's in the center. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that shortly. Along with the new icons and fresh start, let's see. Here's an early look. Okay, there's a quick settings button, which is over here on the right. And you'll notice along here, there are no labels on any of this because the new taskbar has no labels. So if you put your mouse over it, you will see things pop up above it, little bubbles to tell you what it is. But there's no way that you can see what it is with the word, which you could in Windows 10. You could turn that on or off, but you could also go to the edge here and drag it and make it a little bit higher. Or you could, if it was unlocked, you could right mouse click and drag it to the left, to the right, or to the top. You can't do that in Windows 11. Maybe somewhere down the road, they may change that. Any of this that I'm showing you, again, we're in development mode and we're in beta mode. Everything is subject to change. This is the way it is today. Well, I'm going to talk about moving it and just and making some changes in it. But let's take a look right now. These are the quick settings buttons, and there's a Wi-Fi status. Well, right now I'm not on Wi-Fi. I am plugged in on this machine to get a faster, easier, and I've also got the power is turned on, or I got it plugged in. So it's not running off the battery to make sure that we have a successful program today. It's also, I mentioned it's glued, it's same size. The taskbar icons have notification badges. Let's see if I have any of them here. I don't have it here, but if there were notifications, there might be a little number above it in the corner. Well, let's see, you're just seeing the things here, but there are none here to show you. And let's see. Oh, and way over on the right-hand side, even on the Windows 10, if you go way over here to the corner, I don't know if you can see it or not. Hopefully you can. There's a little line there, and that's show desktop. So if I had something open, let's go ahead and just, this is open. So if I come over here to the corner and click that little button, whatever's open on the desktop, I click it and it minimizes it. Doesn't close it, it minimizes it. This has, if you are on Windows 10, it does the same thing in that same corner, but it's a little rectangle box, not a line. So they made that change. I don't know what the big deal is about it. The notification or the overflow area is this little up arrow. And I have, 7 items in there. Now I am going to show you somebody else's taskbar in just a couple of minutes, and you'll see that they have as many there as you might have on your desktop. And notice too that, I took it off of here, yeah, but I do have it. I've got everything here. I had it pinned on the taskbar, and then I realized, well, gee, it's in the overflow area as well, is the program called Everything that I use to find things. And by the way, the program Everything I've got on this computer to see if it works with Windows 11, and it works the same as it does in Windows 10. It's a program that I use to find things on my computer. So in that overflow area, that's where a lot of things go. Now, I am going to demonstrate some things here in a bit and how you can. Yes, Bob.
Can I butt in for 1 second?
Yeah, by all means. In fact, anytime, because you're working a lot with this as well. Go ahead. Okay.
On the overflow, the icons in there are items that are started when your system starts. They just don't show up, but they are running in the background. The items in the center don't run until you select them. So there's a difference between where you have them. Even if it's in the overflow, it is running in the background. Like Everything is running in the background. If you only had that icon in the center part, it means you have to select it in order to start it.
Right, but I had, which as an example here, I am going to pin to, let's see. Pin to start, that's pins it to the start button. I did have it pinned to the taskbar, and I can't do it from there. I can do it from the menu though, but I had it pinned to the taskbar as well as running in the background, which I really didn't need to do. So I took it off. Let's see if there's anything else in this article. Some other miscellaneous taskbar changes. There's no search box, but there is a search magnifying glass that when you click it, you get a different kind of a search box. So you get whatever you want to search for is here, but then there's also the top app. So it's a menu as opposed to a search box.
Also, those pinned items on the right-hand side, if you click on any of them, it will actually open up something else on the right-hand side, not those.
The right-hand side of what?
Of the taskbar.
Oh, over here. You're talking about?
Right. The ones for your internet access, right.
Or are you talking about these?
These. Click on any one of them.
Yeah.
And you'll open up a menu.
Yes. Yeah, that's in one of the other items. I'll be getting to that. Okay, let's see. Other miscellaneous taskbar changes. There's no news and interest button. There's no people options in the taskbar. Clicking the date and time shows a list of your notifications as well as a calendar. If I click here, you'll see that I get notifications as well. When Focus Assist is enabled, you will see a crescent moon icon beside the clock. And let's go back to that. And I don't have Focus Assist, and to be honest with you, I haven't played with that at all, so I'm not going to cover that today. But let's click it just to see. Why not? It takes me right into settings and to Focus Assist. I have it turned off. You can priority only, alarms only, and then there's some settings for it. But that's not anything that I have played with, so I don't have any more information on it. And apps no longer are allowed to customize areas of the taskbar, although this didn't happen often in Windows 10. Okay, so that's that article. Okay, careful here. How to move the start menu, Windows 11. Actually, in the list of articles on Hewie.net, I do have the article, How to Move the Start Menu to the Left. And so Microsoft has not stopped experimenting with this. They've removed the left buttons bar and moved it to the bottom. Let's see, notable changes in the start menu. So let's go to the start menu. The start menu looks totally different than it did in Windows 10. They removed the left buttons bar and moved it to the bottom. So it's down here. They removed the tiles and apps groups, and start button has been moved to the center of the taskbar. And that's the button that I pressed to get to this. Okay, so what we're going to do next is move the start menu to the left. So you right click on the taskbar, and go to taskbar settings. Now, whenever you go to settings now, it takes you right into the settings, into the right place in settings. Expand the taskbar behaviors. Let's see where we want to go there. And
Scroll
believe it
down.
or not, but believe it or not, if you want to to make the change, you've got to come down here to accessibility. You go to accessibility, now you'll find, let's see, let me find my notes here. Am I in the right place? Taskbar behaviors. Where am I going here? Right click the mouse bar, taskbar settings, expand taskbars. So that's where we are. Taskbar behaviors.
Right there.
There we go. Yep. And there's your taskbar alignment. It said it's center. It only gives me center or left. If I make it to the left, it moves it to the left. It moves everything to the left, not just the start button.
Right.
I'm going to leave it in the center just because I can. And that's the way it came. So I'm trying again, be generic. And that's pretty much it, how you can change it. So if you're uncomfortable with it, and I have found that I have a tendency to go to that left corner, but I'm trying to cure myself of that because I want to be a Windows 11 person on Windows 11. So I have left it the way it came. And let's see, I'll change mice here. Go down the article, get Windows 10 start menu. If you don't like the new start menu, you have little recourse. There's a registry hack. I do not recommend anyone going into the registry. Some of you are capable of it. Some of you might not be and can really screw up your computer. So I never give advice on what to do in the registry, because there's a lot of people on here who that would be dangerous. And I'm one of them. I don't go into the registry and make changes.
The registry hack that's been posted no longer works. Microsoft has seen to that.
All right, good. That's good to know. Thank you. And let's see, move start menu and make Windows 11 open File Explorer. Okay, let's do this. And this is make Windows 11 open File Explorer to this PC instead of quick access. When you open up File Explorer, when I click here, it brings me directly to quick access. And you know what? That's never where I want to be. And I like this PC better. So by default, the Windows 11 File Explorer opens to quick access. Now, if you want to change that, what you're going to do is, let's see, you'll see more up here where these three dots are. Notice the menu to File Explorer is changed. There's very little there. But when you click the three buttons, then you get more. And then you got options. And here is Open File Explorer Quick Access. I'm going to change that. And I only have one other choice, and that's this PC. Now, when I do that and I say, OK, and we'll close File Explorer. And then now we're going to open File Explorer. And now it opens to this PC. While we're here, let's take a look at this PC. It is a little bit different. You notice that the things here are a little bit different. But let's go to the see more. You can add a network location. So your choices are hidden. Instead of having one long menu item, you've got them here. And then you can go to options as well. And then in options, you can go to the general and you can go to view. And so the things that a lot of times showed up in the top now are located in here, although you did have advanced settings before. And so if you don't have extensions turned on, you can do that here and so on. And then there's a search for some things in search as well. Now under view, right now we're set at medium icons, I believe. You can go to large icons. And you can go to extra large icons. So there's different things that you can have in the view. Let's go back to medium icons. And then we can go to small icons. And you can go to details. Let's go to list first. So this is pretty much the way you could in earlier versions. Go to details. If you're like, if you go to documents, I don't have much in documents, but let's just, so you see that it looks like it did in DOS. And then if you want to move one level up, which is the same as you do in Windows 10. Content is, again, all these views are very similar to Windows 10, except the icons are different. And you can show the navigation pane. So if you want to show the navigation pane, you can do that. Details pane, and so on. So how did I have it before? Details pane, no. So let's see if I can get back to where I was here, to the preview pane. So again, with preview pane, this works the same in Windows 10. You can click on a document and it'll preview it in the side. So in your views in File Explorer, this has not changed, except it does look a little bit different. The file name extensions I've got turned on, but let's go back to the navigation pane. There we go. And you could turn that off if you want. Okay, let's see if there was anything else in this article that I wanted to touch on. The options, I changed that. Okay, that's it for that one. Let's go ahead and close out of this. And come on. Whatever reason the mouse is hesitating on me. It's not hesitating on my computer, it's hesitating in Zoom. Oh, I know why. Okay. Let's come up. Oh, I'm in the wrong mouse. That's why. Let's come over here, view options. Come on. Oh, I got to do it down here. Told you this would be a problem with all these mice and screens. Anyway, let's take a short break, see if there's any questions. Unmute yourself if you have a question, or put the a hand up if you want. Any comments, questions? Jolyn?
Yeah, if I don't know, you don't have to do it right now, but I've always liked the little itty bitty icons in the lower right-hand corner of File Explorer for a quick shift of view. And it looks like they were still there. Could you take a look and make sure they're still working the same way?
Okay, let's see if I
If you
follow
can get
what you
back
mean.
into that,
Yeah.
back in File Explorer.
Yeah. Let me share my screen. Oops,
I'm glad they
well,
didn't change the icon for File Explorer.
Well, it is changed, believe
Well,
it
it's
or not.
updated, but it looks the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
lower right-hand corner.
Down here.
Mhm. It's not quite the same, but okay. So it gives you large icons and shifting back and forth from large icons to details.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
cool.
I think you can change it here as well.
In
Under,
options, really cool.
in options.
Would that be under view? Yeah. Oh, okay. One of the options down the.
Yeah. And
Okay.
cancel.
Okay. Cool. I'll take a look
No,
when I
no,
get to it.
actually, it wasn't there. It was under view. So if you wanted small icons, you're there. And let's see if I didn't want that on the right-hand side. Show, and I'm going to take the preview pane off. There we go. And
But those two icons for switching the view quickly without having to go into
Yeah.
view are still there.
still there. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Terrific. Thank you.
Yeah. And preview pane, details pane. No, that's not what I want. Now I'm trying to get back in case we have to use this again. Show. Turn that off. Okay. You know, and you can obviously come on, move. I'm having trouble with the mouse working the way I want it.
I don't think it's your mouse, Huey. It's the computer itself lagging.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And of course you got a double arrow here so you can make this bigger as well. Okay, so that's it for those. Get this back here and go to the next article. Always show. Oh, this is one that bugs me about this. Let's see finally. Yeah. Always show the scroll bars. I'm finding that when you're in something, and let's go back to here. Notice the scroll bar. It's really not showing. It's there, but it's not showing till I move my mouse over it. That makes it wider. I don't like that. And there's a way to turn it so the scroll bars are always showing. So let me go through my notes here. We have to go to settings. Now, there's a lot of ways to get to settings, but the way I will do it this time is we'll come here and we'll come here to settings. And believe it or not, the scroll bar to make it so it's visible is under accessibility. And under visual effects. And this is right here at the top, always show the scroll bars. And then by default, it was turned off. I'll turn it on.
Before
And
you
so-
close this, Hewie,
Yes.
if you have problems with getting to, or have too many clicks to do to get to your settings, while you have this open, do a right click in the system tray and pin it to your taskbar.
Right here. Right mouse click and pin to the taskbar. Yep. Bingo. And it's now pinned there.
Now it's always there. You want to open the settings, just click the button. Of course,
Yep.
you can also use the Windows shortcut key of Windows key and I also opens your settings.
Yeah, there's all kinds of ways for all of these things.
Yep.
Yep. Very good. Okay. So now if we go to here, of course, it's going to lie to me and it's not showing. But if I was in, well, let's look at a folder. It's Doug newsletters. I'm seeing the bar here. Why is it? Let me hit the escape button. Okay, now. That goes away otherwise. That's still kind of going away, isn't it? Well,
Yep.
Maybe it didn't work. Maybe I got to reboot. I'm not sure why it didn't work. It might be a bug. But that's the way you're supposed to be able to do it.
Couple more hands raised, Huey.
Okay, let me stop sharing. And Mike Sorn. Go ahead.
I have a couple of older computers, and there was an article that they weren't going to require manufacturers to use TPM, and they'll distribute a hack or a version to the OEMs to not use TPM. As combine that with the fact that in order to get support on Windows 10, you have to upgrade to 20H2. And those computers didn't want to upgrade to 20H2 because of insufficient storage, insufficient hard disk storage. Now, I just wonder if I was convinced that I could use my old tablet, for example, on Windows 11. If I could figure out how to get storage pools working, so I could get more than 64 gigabytes of storage. Do you know of storage pools? Why I can't get storage pools to work? I've only got 32 gigabytes installed on some of these older computers. One of them being an HP, and the other one being a Win tablet. How do you get storage pools supported, to your knowledge? It didn't say it wasn't supported.
I don't know what storage. I don't know what storage pools are, but either way, if you only have 32 gigabytes of storage, it's not going to work.
Well, storage pools allow you to define a bigger disk of storage as to say, to put on a terabyte disk and make it make that your extension of your main storage.
Yeah, but that's probably done in the operating system, and you can't change operating systems and have it work. And either way, I would not recommend doing that. And as far as the tablet goes, it probably is not going to work on the tablet. It's not even working on some of the Microsoft tablets, the Surface tablets.
There is a write-up in Microsoft of not making TPM mandatory for that manufacturers can get an OEM distribution that doesn't have TPM requirement. Is that what do I lose by not having TPM?
Security.
Well, can that be taken care of in the virus software?
No, no.
It's a hardware requirement that Windows, Microsoft is being pretty strict on. There might be some companies that'll be able to bypass, but not the average person.
Okay, in the initial distribution, there's instructions on how to turn off TPM.
I wouldn't try to, and I would not try to circumvent that, because that's going to be an important part of why you're moving to Windows 11 as opposed to working with Windows 10, is the added security of the TPM chip.
Okay, okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, Joel, you were next.
Simple question, I hope, although you just hit a part of it. Why should I move to Windows 11 at all? I've been
No
running.
reason. No
you don't
reason
have
at
to.
all. No reason at all.
Not till the end of 2025.
Thank you, very reasonable.
Yep. And that's why I'm going to have to be prepared to, on these Windows SIG meetings, I'm going to have to be prepared for both Windows 10 and 11 for a while, till 2025. And hopefully I'll still be around. And once we switch over, then it's going to be a mad scramble for some people, as it was for earlier versions of Windows, that people just weren't ready. They put it off, and then they didn't update quick enough, and they had to go back and update several versions to get to where they are. Stephanie, you had a question.
Yes, your taskbar was not visible except as you went down and found particular things from here. Can you set it to be visible so that you don't have to remember where things are?
It is visible on my computer. Why you couldn't see it, I don't know. That's a Zoom thing. Zoom was probably cutting it off.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Hewie, in Zoom, if somebody goes up to the view icon and changes it from full screen so that it's a window on their monitor, and then takes their mouse pointer and moves it off of the screen, then when you're in full screen in Windows 11, you'll see your taskbar.
Did you catch that?
No.
Okay, I'll say it again. When Hewie shares his screen, if it's filling up your whole screen,
Yeah.
in the upper right-hand corner, there's a view selection, and
Right.
you can take it out of full screen. And once you're out of full screen, Zoom is in a window. You sort of move that up a little bit higher on your computer, take your mouse pointer and click somewhere on your desktop below the Zoom window, and you should see Huey's taskbar when he goes to full screen.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, I've got another answer to that, if I may be permitted.
Go ahead, Stephen.
If you have a setting that hides your taskbar, that's a problem you'll have. I had the same problem. You have to go in and lock the taskbar. If you have one that hides where it disappears down to the bottom of your screen, then it'll come up over Huey's bar. So I don't know if you have to right click on the taskbar, make sure that you don't have it set to hide, which gives you a little bit bigger screen. I've done that before.
Yeah, and you in Windows 11 you can hide the taskbar, and then when you move your mouse down, it appears as well.
Yeah,
but I don't have it set that way.
Yeah, if you have it set to hide, it'll come up over the bottom of the screen of Huey's screen.
Right.
So yes.
So your taskbar, Stephanie.
It had it as show, and then show people on the taskbar show.
Yeah, go,
I haven't checked most of these things. The one I'm supposed to check
It's
is,
not a Zoom setting. It is your setting for your taskbar.
yeah,
And if
right
it's
click.
set to hide, that means it pops up the second your mouse is down toward the bottom. And
That's
it will hide Hewie's taskbar that he's showing in the presentation.
So you right click on the taskbar, go to the bottom where it says taskbar settings, click on that, and then go up where it says hide taskbar, unclick that so that you're no longer hiding, it stays up.
I don't have anything that says hide. I have a bunch of things that say show, some of which were checked and some of which were not checked.
Yeah, it's a check. So you want to uncheck where it says hide taskbar.
If
I
it's not
don't have
there,
anything that says hide here.
then don't
Stephanie-
worry about it.
Are you
Stephanie,
looking
you
at
have to-
Zoom
She-
settings, or are you looking at your computers?
She has to go into task settings. She right clicks on the taskbar and then clicks task settings.
That's right.
And I
Okay,
think that's that's the step she missed.
okay, thank you.
Huey,
Yes, Ted.
down on the taskbar, I have all the pictures. And that's hiding the taskbar.
Okay, well, you're on an iPad and I really can't,
It's different
uh,
machine, yeah.
it's different and we can't take, each individual settings, of each of you, as much as I'd like to. I am sorry. Hopefully you can move it around and figure out how to, see it at the bottom, but, we really need to go on.
Just real quick, thoughts
John.
on dual boot, Windows 10 and Windows 11. In other words, loading Windows 10 if you get a new Windows 11 machine and there's enough space. Any thoughts on that? Thank you.
I don't, be honest with you, I've never done dual booting. I've always been against it. It just causes all kinds of grief. And I think you're asking for more problems than you need. Especially, I know, John, you have access to different machines. My suggestion would be to have one on one machine, have another on the other machine. Okay, any other questions? Okay,
I have a continuation question. If you almost convinced me to stay on Windows 10. Reason why I considered Windows 11 is you got to go to 20H2 update, and some of these older machines don't take Windows that 20H2 update.
You can't do 20H2. You can't go to Windows 11.
yep.
The problem with Windows the 20H2 is to stay in Windows 10 you need 20H2. How do you is there any advice on how to stay on 20H2 on things that supposedly can be supported on Windows 10 but somehow don't?
Probably not in this presentation.
Yep. And I'm not sure whether, if it won't go to 20H2, it might be time to consider a new computer. And if you are, then start thinking in terms, do I want one that's going to support and have enough oomph to be able to do anything I want to do in Windows 11 when it comes out. Okay, let's continue. Let me share again. Share screen. And let's see, we talked about the scroll bars. Next item here is Windows 11. Oh, they've changed the menus now to be a little bit more compact. Let's see if I can demonstrate that. Let's go in here. Now, how do this wasn't open before, and I'm trying to remember how to close that off. That would be in view, right? And I want this. No. See, playing around with these things, sometimes you do something and you don't remember what you did. Because it wasn't showing this. column on the left originally, and I'm not sure how to shut that back off. Details, tiles. Let's just do medium icons and see what we get. No, still not it. Okay, anyway. When we want to demonstrate something here, let's look here, and I'm going to right mouse click. Notice now, a lot of times when you would right mouse click in Windows 10, the list would be longer than sometimes the screen would be. You'd have to bring the whole thing up and hope it would show. Now you'll notice, come on. Oh, I know what's going on. I have a menu at the top and it's interfering. I'm not looking at my Windows 11 machine. I'm looking at the Zoom screen. Okay, so anyway, so if I right mouse click here, notice it says now show more options. And when I do that, then it gives me the rest of the list. So instead of it being over to the side and dropping down even lower, and you'd have to scroll down or bring the screen up, now it's giving you an additional, it's making it easier. It's being more compact and easier to check and look at those. Let's see if there's anything else in this article. No, that's it. Okay, here's a list of some other improvements in this latest build. Microsoft has improved the spacing and thumbnail sizes within the Alt-Tab task view and Snap Assist. Let me do an Alt-Tab to show you what I mean. Not sure what this does. I don't have enough things open, really. File Explorer will now show an updated scroll bar when in the dark mode. I'm never in dark mode. I know some people like it. And what I really don't like is when people who are doing screen captures, dark mode is very difficult to see and look at. So if you're doing screen captures to demonstrate things, please do it in light mode and not in dark mode. Microsoft has addressed a memory leak bug that was impacting File Explorer. So that got fixed. File Explorer command bar has been updated to reduce resources usage. Microsoft has fixed Explorer.exe crashes. The context menu will not flicker anymore and get clipped on the side. Scroll bar issues have been resolved. Radio buttons in File Explorer now appear highlighted when they're in the selected state. And Microsoft has patched an issue affecting the file operation dialogues. So even though there's things you don't see as they come up with newer versions of the development and beta versions, they are fixing things. And I'll show you an article on that coming up as well. Let's see, and this goes on how to install it. And what it does talk about, and let's see, I am on the other computer. Let's see if I can, I'm going to switch computers. Oh, it's going to be fun. Let's stop the share and then start to share on this computer and bring this over here. There we go. Here are some known issues in the build, and let's see. Some known issues in this latest build. Windows search does not detect the text entered by the user. I've had that happen a few times. System and Windows terminal are not listed when right-clicking on the start button, which is Win X plus the X key. The taskbar flickers. Recent searches may not appear when you hover over the taskbar's search icon. Taskbar crashes in Windows Sandbox. The search panel might appear black or blank, and Windows widgets will appear blank for some users, but this can be fixed by reconnecting to the Microsoft account. So there's bugs on a regular basis in this, and that's another reason why not to do the install now unless you're willing to accept these, and another reason why not to use it on your main machine.
There are bugs in the released version of Windows 10 right now. So That's a
Uh,
never ending thing.
Absolutely. Okay, what do we have next here? Oh, the snap layouts in Windows 11. Let's share my screen. What are we doing in time? Okay, we're not going to get through all of it. I know that. Okay, the snap layouts. I got to have a few things open here. So let's open up a notepad and just type in test, and let's see on downloads, what do we have here? Have anything I can open? No, that's a PDF. It's not ours. I don't have much on here yet. But okay, so we got 2 items anyway, so that's good. So now if we're here and the snap layout, come on. If I come over and hover over here, notice now, instead of just hitting the full screen or not full screen, now I have some layouts that I can set up. And I can have either 2 things side by side,
Equal.
equal, one bigger than the other. You have 1 big one and 2 smaller ones, or all 4 small. So let's take this one. We go like this. And so now we have the 1 large window here. We have 1 small window here, and we don't only have 2 windows open. So the other one would go here. So we got to actually open up something there. Or if we just click in there, then this one is so it's back to 2. But you can do different layouts when you have more windows to how you want it set up. Or you can just full screen and have it full screen just to 1. So it's nicer than before. You had to drag it over to the side, hope it would connect and make it half of a screen. And then also, if you take it, let's see, I got to get up here to the top. You take it, and when you bring it down, it actually will then make it the regular size that it was. So you don't lose that size when you bring it back to be within that screen.
Have they eliminated the drag to snap entirely?
No, I believe that's still there too. I haven't played with it, but I believe it's still there. Okay, let's see what else is in this article before I go on. Okay, I just showed you that. And open settings, and of course, okay, I think that's it for that article. Now you're saying, where am I? I'm talking about that article. Let's just let's see. I want to stop the share, and then I'm going to come back over here, share my screen. It's just easier to do it this way. And then what I have, whoops, is I'm on my website, which is here, hewie.net. And I just go to the WinSig, and all the articles that I'm using. So all the things I'm showing you are down here, and we've come to, let's see, add items. We're here. So this is where, so that's as far as we've gotten so far. I'm going to drop to the bottom one first, next, and then we'll come back and continue. But Bob G, who's on here, has done a series. He's been cutting in a few times and coming up with comments for you. And that's because he's been playing with this a whole bunch more than I have. But he's got a whole playlist of short videos that he's done. And there's a link to it on that page. So he's got ready for Windows 11. This will get you the answer, a preview release, the latest one, quick action center, checking for TPM chip, getting his Dell Inspiron ready for Windows 11. He doesn't have the TPM chip on there, but there is something very similar to it on his motherboard that he was able to turn on. That's a good video to take a look at. Controlling the taskbar. No, it's not Windows 10. Adding folder shortcuts. So there's a lot of short videos that Bob has done. I highly recommend going to that playlist. And again, let me move this down here. It's down here at the bottom of my listings of items for today on the WinSig channel. Bob, did you want to add anything, what you're doing and how you're playing with this? You're having a lot of fun with it.
I am. And I have a full-blown computer, not one just to see how it works. I'm actually on a regular basis using Windows 11. I have 2 Windows 10 computers, and I have 2 systems that are ready for Windows 11. And I'm on the main system. It's actually a Dell laptop. It's got 16 gigabytes of RAM, has a terabyte SSD. So this is not a little baby that I'm playing with.
Make me feel bad. Go ahead.
No, it's just that, you get what you pay for.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
when you have a downsized computer, sometimes things don't work like they're supposed to, not because there's something wrong with the operating system, but because the computer itself just needs more help, more RAM, more disk space, so on and so forth. So, and I'm using it on a regular basis. I've been using nothing but, except for answering questions, Windows 11 since it was very first released. I've been an insider for Microsoft since Windows 7, so this is for me a normal thing.
Well, anybody have any questions at this point that maybe Bob can answer that I might not be able to?
I just want to say thank you, Bob.
I enjoy it. This is what keeps my brain going.
And me too. Peter, you had a question. You're muted.
Unmute and start over, Peter.
Yep.
I will. Okay, sorry about that. Have there been any changes in Windows 11 as it relates to networking?
What problems are you having with networking?
I'm not having any problems, and I'm hoping not to have any problems. So I'm wondering, as one by one I switch my PCs over to 11, if there's any surprises in terms of what I will have to do differently versus Windows 10 to get them all to talk to each other.
I have not had any problems.
I don't think you're going to have any problems there. And one of the things that Windows 11 is tied to is the Microsoft Teams, which is their version of what we're doing here, where people can talk back and forth, and some of it's built into the operating system now. So there's going to be a lot more usage of Microsoft Teams, I think, once people start going to Windows 11. And I have not played with Teams at all. I started an account. I started to look at it, and it looked like it was more overkill than most of us need. But I think they're simplifying it and making it so they're going to be competitive with Zoom for people like us that don't need to be professionals in order to use it. Okay, let me go back to, let's see, the right computer here. And share the screen. Before we do that, let me go over here. I'm just looking at the chat box here. If there's anything there that needs to be talked about. When Windows 8 first came out, people who didn't like the Metro interface called it Classic Shell in order to keep the look and feel of Windows. It continued to be used through the early days of Windows 10 until Microsoft acquiesced to user input and made the menu and toolbar interface more XP-like. Okay, so they have changed it considerably. And Jolyn talked about that when we were on. Should you limit the number of hidden icons in the overflow area?
The
You
answer
know,
to that is simple. If you use something quite often, don't hide it. If you don't use it only seldom, on a seldom basis, then there's no need for it to take up room in the parts that are shown. That's basically your thermometer that you should be using.
It's
If
the
you
same
use it
thing.
often, show it. If you don't use it often, hide it.
The same thing with your desktop. You know, I've got just a handful of icons on here. And some of these I don't really need on the desktop. And yet I've seen people's computers, Dave Gerber, that have their whole screen, nothing but icons, the entire screen. And it's, to me, that's harder to find anything than if you looked at a list. So, it's a personal thing. Okay, let's see what the next item is. And I just closed that window, I'm afraid. Didn't I?
One thing about that, what I do is create folders. So I have one called tools and one called browsers and one so forth. Makes it much easier.
Yeah, you've changed how you do it, how you did it before. You had it all, everything on the front and on the desktop. Okay, let's
There's a question on TPM. It's turned
Okay.
off on Windows 10. Will I notice any change in behavior if I turn it on? The answer is no.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to skip the next item, adding things to the send to menu, because I had some issues with that, not understanding it, not it working. Change the default apps. Oh yeah, there's a lot of talk about this. Microsoft doesn't seem to want you to use the apps that aren't from Microsoft. Changing the default apps on previous versions was fairly straightforward. You just changed the default apps in Windows 10 was more involved. And then on Windows 11, the company requires a few more clicks to do it. So to change the default apps on 11 anyways, let's see. They're using a program and I don't have it, but we go to settings. We'll come down here because Bob showed us to put it in the taskbar. And I'm on the wrong mouse. That's good, Hewie. We'll try this mouse and it might work. And go to apps. And then default apps. Now, what I'm hearing on some of the podcasts I've been listening to, the problem, if you go to change, let's say, your default browser to Chrome, Google Chrome, when you go to change that, you'll notice you have to change it on each of the things that your browser. There's not one that just says, okay, anything to do with the browser, make it my default. Can't do that. You got to do it to each one of these. And that's a real pain. Hopefully they're going to change that by the time it's released, but it's not easy to change the app. So if you have a JPEG and you want it to be, whenever you click on a JPEG that it opens up, let's say Irfan view, well, then all of the other picture things, you've got to go in and change all of the extensions to Irfan view to make it be the default for any picture.
I can tell you there is lots and lots of slack right now being thrown at Microsoft. This is one of the items that will probably get changed back to the way it was.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing too. It really is not the right way to go, and
Nope.
It makes it very difficult. Okay, so let's go ahead and close that. And then let me look at the next item here. Oh, this is kind of neat. How to make a video from your photos. Making a video from photos neither requires many skills nor a third-party program. Windows 11 has the feature built in its Photos app, the default photo viewing program on Windows. It's this guide, and what I'm going to show you now is how you can do that. Early to make a video from photos, you needed to install a third-party app on your PC to do it. And now what you do is you click on, let's see, you open up the Photos app. So we'll come here. We can come here and then look for the Photos app. Is one way. And we'll look for some other ways too. So we get to know how to open some things. But we open up the Photos app. Now, I've already uploaded some pictures in my test, but if they weren't there, you can come up to import and bring the pictures in. And then you come up to new video and go to automatic video. Now, these are some pictures that I took at a Comdex many years ago and some other pictures. So I'm going to grab this picture, this one, this one. Come on, there we go. And these five pictures. And so we've selected them. Now we come up here to create. We'll give it a name. We'll call it WinSig test video and say OK. It's creating the video from the selected items. You can actually put audio under it, put some music under it. I'm going to stop it because I don't want the music. Stop. Okay, the reason I don't want music is that I'm not sure if we can get away with it on YouTube or not. So this music probably would work. Okay, good. But anyway, what you'll see that there is a video and it's 25 seconds, 26 seconds long. And let's see, remix it for me, finish the video. So we'll finish it. Oh, wrong mouse. And finish it. What quality do you want? You can export it. More options. Use hardware accelerated. Now we'll just export it. Now, where does it want to export it to? I hope it just doesn't do it. Okay. And we're going to put it in the test win on my SSD card. And we'll say export. So we can, it's exporting it. Now, it may be choppy. Again, we're working with a very low end machine. So when we play it back, it may not be, and we're doing it through Zoom on top of it. So it takes a few seconds to create the video.
Good thing there's only 5 pictures.
And I only have 5 pictures, right? By the way, the 5 pictures are me and Danica Patrick, the race car driver, and me with Peter Norton, and then Bill Gates talking to APCUG back in 2000, and then a picture of me with Sulu from Star Trek, and then I was on stage taking pictures with Joe Walsh at a party at that same Comdex that some of those pictures were taken. And so
they knew how to throw good parties at Comdex.
Boy, they sure did, didn't they? Okay, here's the video. And
Can
so
I-
it
can I make a
created a
comment?
video for us.
Howie, can I make a comment? You
Sure.
know, Microsoft had this. It's called Photo Story, MS Photo Story. And I've used it for years and years and it still works. And it works better than this.
Okay, but it's now built into their photo program. So you don't even have to go to a different program. The program that you use for your photos by default is you're able to do a video. So yeah, and there's other tools. I have several programs that I work with videos, but this is clean and easy. It's part of the operating system. It comes with it. You don't have to go searching for it. And whether Photo Story will still be around later on and whether it works properly with Windows 11, we don't know. But yeah, that's, there's been lots of ways to do that sort of thing, but you saw how easy it was for me to do it right from within their default photo program. Okay, let's see what's next on here. What are we doing? Oh, we're actually at our time. So let me go ahead and I'm going to stop the share. And Carl too has a question.
Can you clarify for me? You just showed us an app. Is that the same app? Will that same app be available on Windows 10?
No, I believe that's their default photo program in Windows 11. I don't believe it is in Windows 10.
Thank you.
Tom Hirsch, question?
Yes, thank you. The Windows 10 computers I have all been updated with the 20H2 update. And I see there's a 21H1 update, and I'm wondering if there's any problems or downsides to installing that. Is that safe to install? No one's had any problems?
I've had 21H1 since October without any problems. So almost a year. No, wait a minute, 21H1. No, that would have been, when did I put that in? April, I guess.
Yep. Actually, May.
Yeah, April, May. Yep.
No problem here.
Yep. When I got this this little HP that I'm using to test, it had I can't remember which version, but I think it might have been 20H1 or 20H2, whatever it was. It finished installing. It did a couple updates, and then I went ahead and just did the update directly to 2011. I didn't have to update it any further. Okay. Let me hang on one second here. Share my screen. And close this, close this. And this has been the Central Florida Computer Society Windows Special Interest Group for August 8th. We've been talking about Windows 11, and I've been demonstrating some things and showing some things. I hope it's helped. We'll do some more next month, and there'll probably be a lot more to talk about, as well as anything else dealing with Windows 10. We're not going to be the Windows 11 SIG. We are the Windows SIG, so we'll be talking about Windows 10 and even 7 for some of you who are still on 7. So the Windows Special Interest Group meets the second Sunday of every month, same time, same station.